Perfect, got it. All right, we are caught up on chat. So next up on our Monday, we're going to talk a little bit about farming Spirit Shards. So you probably have noticed if you've made it to any of the Money Mondays, we have been covering entirely Spirit Shard money making. Spirit Shards are my favorite way to make money, and here's why. If you go and you open up your Guild Wars 2, if you're not already using your Spirit Shards, you're likely to find that you've got as many as 1,000 or more Spirit Shards. Like the first time we did a Money Monday and we talked about Spirit Shards, there were people with 3,000 plus Spirit Shards just sitting there. And here's why I love the Spirit Shards. Depending on how you use them, if you're smart and you're lucky, you could get 2 gold per Spirit Shards doing the promotion that we just talked about. Once you have a little bit more money in your inventory, to invest in larger crafting recipes, you could get a return of 4 gold up to, who knows, it depends on what the price of the ingredients and the selling price of the item is. Like I've heard of some people who crafted some amazing, like it took them an investment of about 1,400 gold, but they made like 30 gold per Spirit Shard. So you can make so much money off of these things. So much money, and most people, they don't use the Spirit Shards. Once it came out, a lot of people just didn't know, what am I supposed to do with this? Mare, thank you so much for following. Welcome to the stream. So this is, I think personally, that Spirit Shards are just one of the least understood items. Most people just use them for crafting when they're crafting their legendaries, and they go and they get their Bloodstone Shard from Miani. That takes 200 Spirit Shards, but the rest of the time, what are you going to do with them? A lot of people don't know. I didn't know, and that's totally okay. So this is an opportunity to learn the different things to do with Spirit Shards, but you run into a problem. So back when we were doing the guild hall, I had over 1,000 Spirit Shards, and I wasn't even doing dailies. You get 3 gold per, or 3 Spirit Shards per daily, so those have just accrued over almost 3 years, so 2.5 years of playing the game, and I just didn't know what to do with them. Now, as you can see, I'm down to 243. What you should know is I used all of those 1,000 Spirit Shards. I used all of my over 1,000 Spirit Shards, and then I got about 800 by farming them, and then I used all of those down to about 150, and I've been using these now for the Spirit Shard promotions for the Money Monday tutorials, and I've used down again to 150. I've made about 150 Spirit Shards, no, 200 Spirit Shards just in the last 2.5 weeks. So, and it doesn't take much time. I don't spend a lot of time farming the Spirit Shards. I just play whatever seems fun. So, yeah, it's totally free. Like, why wouldn't you want to be doing the, why wouldn't you want to be making sure you farm them? So let's talk a little bit of the ways to get Spirit Shards. There's a lot of ways. You can get them from the daily. So if you come on over and you look at the daily achievement, always, always, always do the daily, because look at this. You're going to get 3 Spirit Shards every day. Like, holy cow. It's so many. Viper, thank you so much for following, and welcome back to the game. I hope you get the expansion. It is awesome. Okay, so that's 3 Spirit Shards per day. That's 90 Spirit Shards per month if you just do the daily completionist plus 2 gold. That's 60 gold on top of that. Per month. Like, holy cow. So definitely always do your daily completionist. Now the other ways, there are 3 other good ways. I mean, there's some others that are, I'm not a big fan of them, but the 3 top ways, let's start with the bottom. So you can get them from a bunch of different, oh, now I'm blanking on what it's called. A bunch of different champ bags. So you can farm certain things to get the champ bags that potentially drop them. Now, this is the least way, because I found that as a guardian, I just don't get enough champ bags to make this work. However, I know somebody who plays an elementalist. Basically anything that has a lot of AoE damage and they can cover a lot of ground very quickly. They get an unbelievable amount of Spirit Shards doing this level, this method of farming. It's just not so great if you don't have a lot of AoE and the ability to hit a ton of stuff really quickly. Now, the key there is you don't try and kill everything. You just try and get your hits in on it so that once somebody else kills it, that you get credit for it and you get the drop. So that's the spirit right there, right, guys? Yeah, don't say I said that. It's a collaborative effort to make that happen. So we're gonna go just really quickly and open up the wiki again. And just a reminder, you can anytime in chat type in /wiki, the item that you are wondering about. When you are in the game, it'll pop up in an external window. Makes it really nice when you want to see something or you can't remember, oh, what was that again? How do I get that? It's fabulous. So here we go. Spirit Shards. So we're going to just read this real quick. Used by Miani to maintain the Mystic Forge. Great, that doesn't tell us anything. It's a currency. Yep, we can trade it to Miani, Mystic Forge attendants for all sorts of different stuff. So it's a random drop for level 80 characters. Okay, fantastic. Tomes of Knowledge, we're going to talk about those, and we're going to talk about Dessa's Experiment Journal. There is the Sea of Sorrows. This is a one-time achievement that you can get by finding all of the Mariner's plaques and reading them. There's only like 12. It doesn't take that long. You're going to get 5 Spirit Shards. Totally worth it. But not a great way to farm since you can't do it more than once. But take a look at all of these loot boxes that you can get them from. You can get them from arid caches. You can, so Silver Waste and Dry Top, you could get those there. And this is just a chance of dropping. Bandits, you could go farm some bandits. Nightmare Core, I mean, you can get these dropping in dungeons. All of the loot boxes from PvP. Branded Strongbox, you can get them by champ farming, hanging out in ore. Basically, it's an option. It's a random drop for a lot of the things that are going to give you caches, pouches, boxes, rucksacks, pods. You know, you name it, it could be in there. And like I said, it really depends on how many hits you can get in on how many different creatures in a given. I believe you can get a decent number in World versus World if you've got the good AoE. So that's one method. Go and farm any of the things that drop these. All you have to do is click on one to see what's going to drop it. So I mean, Nightmare Court, we can tell from the name. It's going to tell us, oh, okay. Got it. It's a dungeon track. Fabulous. I know this now. So let's talk. Okay, so then it would be World versus World as long as you've got your dungeon track set right. Okay. However, we're going to talk about fractals. So fractals are a great way, like really great way to farm some of these. So we're going to need to jump over to fractals so I can show you. But basically, if you do your daily fractals, you can get Spirit Shards that way. Pretty much a really good thing to add to your routine is a daily fractal, your daily completionist for your regular daily, and your daily some PvP. And there's some tricks to some of this to make it a little bit better. See you. Let's head on over. And we're just going to enter explorable mode. We're not actually going to do a fractal right now. Oh man, Korean barbecue chicken noodles. You are speaking my language right now. Korean barbecue is where it's at. Oh my gosh, some bulgogi or some short ribs. Oh man, you're making me hungry already. Oh my gosh. Beacon, the price, you have to check because there's no way to tell you off of the price. The price that it has to be is dependent entirely on the cost of the items. That's why you have to do the calculations in Excel to know whether or not the promotion is a good idea. I could tell you something and then you're going to go and make it. You could lose money. You'll be angry at me. So I cannot answer that question. I am so sorry. Pick up a staff. It's called a loot stick for a reason. Okay. Yeah. The staff, the AoE staff, is definitely the way to go for that. Thank you. That's what you use for World versus World? Excellent. Oh man, look at everybody sharing their tips. I love it. Yeah, Korean barbecue. Oh my gosh. Korean barbecue. Okay, so we're going to go and talk to these guys, find where it is. So it's right here, this buy 4373. you're going to look right here at Dessa's experiment journal. It's 35 fractal relics plus 10 silver per, and each of these is going to give you 1 spirit shard. Now the thing you got to be careful though is if you're using this method, it does cost you money to get the spirit shards. It can be worth it, but you got to make sure that you're doing those higher profit recipes. And here's why. I might have, let's say I need 50 spirit shards. Well, that's going to cost me, what, 5 gold to buy those Dessa experiment journals if this is how I'm choosing to farm them. And that's, I just get the fractal relics by doing fractals. So that's fine as long as I'm doing something that has a high enough return and not such a high loss rate. So basically, this is a great option for when you get to the 500 and above and start doing the recipes. Go back onto my YouTube channel. I have that tutorial's already up. It is, what did I call it? Episode 2 of Money Monday. That's when you're going to want to look at. That's going to be your best bet because you're making up to 200 gold profit per craft. That makes this very doable because it is 50 spirit shards. So it's 200 minus 5. That's still profit for you. That is pure profit as long as you're doing your fractals. So you just go ahead and you buy as many of these as you want. I might say, I can buy 3. You just double click and I just gained a spirit shard. There's the little animation. Spirit shard. Another spirit shard. Look, I just got 3 spirit shards. How easy was that? That's just from having done some fractals last week. All right, so we're going to go ahead and move on out. We're going to go look over at PvP. Mongolian barbecue is delicious too. Guys, it's my karma coming back to me. Yeah. There was a Mongolian grill for barbecue nearby growing up. Oh, so good. So good. I always wanted to go there for dinner if my family was going out. Thank you, Flip. All right. So, PvP. Let's talk about PvP. Some of the stuff is going to go for World versus World too. Your reward track. So here's World versus World. You go in here, take a look by hovering over this. Each of these, you get 1 tome of knowledge per tier of the dungeon track. And that's the same thing in PvP. I go into my reward track. Look, I get 1 tome of knowledge for every tier of these I complete. To give you an idea, I completed about 20 tracks of these just from playing no, I did more than that. In the first month of the competitive season. Now, there is a trick to this. So, if you are in a high-level guild, there is a way to increase your reward speed. So you're going to go to your guild hall. Always, always, always before you play your PvP and do your dailies, go to your guild hall. Make sure you get the PvP reward track booster. So important. So, so, so important. So you're going to go over to your tavern, just down this way. Lexu, I would only advise against using your fractal relics for spirit shards if you are actually using them for something else. If you decide to put them toward your gold making, it's up to you. If you're working on the legendary fractal back piece, absolutely keep those. Not everybody wants it, so this is just so people know that this is how you do it. Okay, so PvP though. You go over to your bartender and you say, oh yes, I want my PvP reward track. Look guys, I can increase my PvP reward track gain by 10%. Holy cow, that makes a big, big, big difference, okay? So you go ahead and you get that and you leave the guild hall. So you always, always, always want to get that extra 10%. It makes a huge difference. So with the 10% on, I usually get a tome of knowledge every 2 to 3 wins. However, if you were on a winning team, your team is just absolutely fantastic. You're like, oh man, we have got this going on. We're going to win this. Oh, I crashed. Mac attack, guys. Let me just restart my game. So if you're in a win streak, you've got a team that really knows what they're doing. This is maybe a little bit harder to do in ranked unless you're just really, really, really